All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back on track this week. We have a guest. If you saw the title, you obviously know who it's going to be. Mr. Tyler Mullins, Little Mule, whatever you want to call him. A good friend of mine. He's been, we graduated high school together. We've known each other for a very, very, very long time. And he's actually taught me quite a bit in this industry. I've definitely learned a lot off of him. I really enjoyed getting to sit down and talk with him on this episode. It's going to be a two-parter, so this episode will be part one. I definitely appreciate y'all tuning in. This is going to be a great one, guys. I promise you. A lot of reminiscing, a lot of good stories. Just a lot of good stuff in this one, guys. I promise you. Be sure to be ready for next week's episode on part two. But before we get to there, of course, we got to get to this one. All right. Here we go. Let's drop the gate. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds Tales podcast. When it's time to get ready for a field trial, deer season, or any other reason that you need to load up that dog box and you're in need of dog hunting supplies, look no further than Outdoor Dog Supply. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online Garmin sales as well as the leader in Garmin and Tritronics trade-in programs. From GPS system to dog training aids to vitamins and supplements and everything in between. Put your trust in Outdoor Dog Supply. Super fast delivery, superior customer service, and a dedication to our sport. We are proud to partner with Outdoor Dog Supply and can't thank them enough for everything that they do for our sport. Visit their website today at outdoordogsupply.com or shoot them a call at 757-482-1000 for any of your hound hunting needs. Thank you, Outdoor Dog Supply. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. Tonight, I am joined by a good friend of mine, Mr. Tyler Mullins. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing well, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's long overdue, but I know we've been trying to get this thing lined up for a long time, and finally the schedule's lined up good.
Yeah, I appreciate you being patient with me.
Oh, yeah. Well, shoot, man. We both live busy lives between work, and I know you're busy with work all the time, and field trialing and family and ball and all that kind of good stuff, man. It's nuts.
It is. It is.
So, to everybody listening, just kind of give us a brief little overview, kind of who you are, where you're from, and, how long have you been a houndsman, man?
Got you. I'm Tyler Mullins. Last I checked, I was 31. Tyler's my government name. Most people, field trial, most people in Appomattox call me Mullins. Just refer to the last name, but everybody in field trialing calls me something different, from Little Mule to Lao Mule. I mean, they got different variations on it. It all depends on where you're at and what you're rocking with. But
probably a few other choice names added in there every now and then.
And that's it. Depending on who you're talking to, it's A to Z on what they call me. But I'd say mules probably is some form of mules in there somewhere. But yeah, I'm 31, man. I've had dogs since I was 14 myself. I've been field trialing since I was 16. So, man, it sounds like a lot, but that's 15 years ago.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe, ain't it?
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
I tell you, man. I know. I was talking to somebody about it the other day. Me and you graduated together. We're closer to 40 now than we are to when we graduated high school.
And that's it. Strange times, man.
So, who got you started? 14's. That's a prime year as far as as age to start into something like that. Who got you started into it?
Man, I've always hunted around dogs. So my dad and I were part of a grotesque gang of individuals in Buckingham that hunted deer during the end of the year. We had Isle of fun, man. Those guys, they'd stay up late playing cards and hooping, hollering and stuff, and we'd hunt all day, and we hunt hard as we could. But my dad never really had dogs of his own or anything. We, had some club dogs down there and stuff we helped take care of throughout the years. But I lived near the country club right there in Appomattox. I mean, that's where I was born and raised, right there close to the golf course. So I met buddies over there, and one of my good friends kind of looked up to him and everything. One of the best things was when I started playing golf all the time, but I could take care of myself. I was 13, 14. I'd slip over there, and my buddy Derek Wooten was driving.
Oh, yeah.
So he could take me here, there, and yonder. But Derek was a big field trialer back in the day, man.
Yeah.
He taught me a lot in his ways, but Derek, I had told Dad and them, I had so much fun hunting with other dogs and stuff that I wanted to get my own. And it just so happened we were over around the golf course playing golf or something. I think it was right before golf season. And Derek hollered at me and he said, "Hey, I got a dog having a litter of puppies." Man, it's been so long. I know the dude, his name was Cedar Grove Snowball, and I think it was Cedar Grove Princess or something was a mama dog. But he called me. He said, "Hey, I got 8 puppies over here. Do you want them?" And I lucked up and talked my parents into letting me go over there. And I'll never forget, I asked Derek, I said, "Well, how many you want to get rid of?" And he said, "Well, how many do you want?" And I said, "I want a pack." So he said, "I tell you what, I'll do 5 for $100." And I had some money saved up from the week, from the summer working and stuff.
Right.
And I looked at Dad and he nodded his head and he said, "Yeah, we can do that." So he let me spend my first $100 on 5 dogs that has turned into what seems like tens of thousands of dollars in the past 15 years.
Easily tens of thousands.
Oh man, it's been a blast though. But yeah, that's where I started. I got 5 deer dogs off of a grade jip when I was 14 years old, and the only rule is when I got them, I had to take care of them. So they gave me a piece of the backyard to fence in, and I mean, I was working then. You know how it was back in the day. You got a worker's permit at 14, but you were working illegally before that.
That's right.
So
that's right.
I always tell my friends, one of my first few jobs, I get a paycheck every week, probably work and get $80 for the week. I'd put, when I could drive, I'd put $30 in gas in the truck, $20 for a case of beer, and get a bag of dog food with the rest of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
You might get a bag of dog food and a quarter tank of gas with that now.
That's it. Yeah, times have certainly changed, my friend.
Damn right. So you ran those dogs for what, 2 years before you got into field trialing?
Oh man, so my dad was pumped about it once we got them up and going. I mean, they were right in the middle of the neighborhood, basically where we grew up at. So they were well-mannered dogs. It was 5 litter mates. It was a jip and 4 males, and we raised them up. And they were about, I can't remember the time frame. I want to say the next season, right before deer season. In the middle of the summer, they were like 7 months old or something. So very perfect breaking age.
Right, yeah.
We went down to the hunting club and got an old dog that we called Tommy Boy. A funny old dog. He'd only run on 3 legs because he got his other foot caught in a bear trap like 2 years before. And we saved him, pulled him out of it and everything, and it worked out perfect. Dog didn't have many faults to him, but he was kind of basically 3-legged.
Right. So
he'd beaten Boppert there, and Dad said the only way we're going to get him started is go, turn him loose on deer at night and the evenings around the house.
Right.
Me and Dad made a goal of it, man. We did that 2 or 3 times a week, turn all 5 of them loose with him on a deer right there around the house, which, I mean, I know probably isn't the best thing to do, but back then, you could do all that stuff, not really get in trouble. Nobody really cared about it because other people were doing it too.
That's right.
And we had a ball, man, all summer. We got those dogs going, and then it might have been when I was 13 or something, but 14, that fall, that winter or something, we were hunting them. They were, about a year old or something. They did fairly well. And we came back in next year, and I had 1 or 2 bunch. Anybody that knows me for a while knows I talked about them. They were all white dogs. Basically, all of them were white dogs.
You're right.
I had one that had a few I had a male dog, a few speckles on his ear, out of that litter that I called Cracker Jack. And it didn't matter where I was, whenever you wanted to go hunting or anything, that sucker was a deer merchant. He taught me what a deer dog was supposed to be. So I enjoyed it. We'd go make 5-6 drives a day during hunting season because we hunted little small blocks. And
right.
I'd shift them in and out. But, I mean, Cracker Jack stayed in the truck. He was starting to finish what we wanted to hunt over.
Right.
and he listened good too. But that's what you get. I think in dogs actually had like an eighth of bird dog in them or something,
Oh,
man. They
no
weren't
kidding.
full of walkers. Yeah, he had an eighth bird dog or eighth lab or something in him, but that sucker could run a deer now.
No kidding.
And yeah, and it actually worked out. I got my driver's license a little bit before my buddy Tyler Carrico.
Oh.
And Tyler was bigger into field trialing when he was 15, 16, so it was actually, by that time, everybody finds, alcohol and friends and stuff
right.
like that, and anywhere on a Friday night to have a good time. So
That's right.
my buddy Carrico, it was during the summer or something, I was 16. He asked me, he said, hey, you want to go judge a field trial? And I said, man, that sounds like fun, dogs running and stuff like that. Right. So we loaded up in the truck. I think it was 3 or 4 of us. We went to go judge the Evergreen Hunt Club 12 to 5 5-hour speed and drive at Tower Hill.
Tower Hill. Okay.
Yeah, and I rolled down there and, cast at midnight, run to 5. I rode in the truck with him down there, a couple of our other buddies. We had a blast. We stayed up all night judging dogs and stuff. And I got done that morning. I went into the parking lot. I saw my buddy Derek Wooten there, and he'd been sleeping in the truck all night. Derek was field trialing. I'd say he was always a step ahead of me. He had already been there and done that, and knew that it's better to sleep than stay up all night and party.
Right.
And I saw him there, and I told Tyler we'd stay for the awards and stuff. And I didn't even know Derek had a dog in the hunt or a few other people, but I want to say Derek was like 14th and like 2nd or something. And when they called her 2nd, I was like, man, I can't even remember the numbers on that dog, but I said, man, we saw that one that night.
Yep.
And I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later, I kind of caught the bug, and I told Carrico he was going to some hunt at Joe Lewis's.
Oh gosh.
It was a hunt at Joe Lewis's, and he said, "You want to come?" And I said, "Heck yeah, man." And back then, entry fees, that was a 1-day HGA hunt, run 5 hours, and I think it was run from like 3 to 8 or something, or 4 to 9 or something. It was always like Joe's hunts. It was half dark, half daylight.
Right.
And I said, yeah, man, I want to go. And I took 2 dogs. And I'll never forget, I rode down there with him, and I didn't know nothing about nothing. I had a white dog. I didn't black him out. I painted him with black paint.
Yep.
And I never forget, we rode down there, and I mean, you could just, I was kind of, mesmerized by all the camaraderie and good times you could have with dogs and everything. I had 2 fat white dogs down there when I was looking at everybody else's. And I had 315 on old Crackerjack, and it was a 2-class speed. It was a 2-class HGA hunt. Now I want to say there was like 265 head in Joe Lewis's 2-class hunt.
Right.
And I was fired up that morning, after cast, couldn't go back to sleep or nothing like that. And I'll never forget, it was one of the old boys from James River Kennels right there.
Okay.
It might have been old Harry, I think, was down there. He was hanging around Carrico and us, and I mean, Crackerjack had one of them voices. I'd hunted over and killed so many deer in front of him, I knew what he sounded like.
Right.
And dog 2.5 years old, so I had to run him in all age. And I kept saying, I said, that's old Crackerjack right there. And Harry done got mad at me finally after I said it for about the 12th time. He looked at me and he said, well, if that's your damn dog right there, he better done something. I never forget, they called her 7 speed and drive, and this was before the rules changed, so speed didn't really mean so much. You had to have hunting to HGA.
Right.
But the dog was like 7 speed and drive in all age, and man, I was so fired up, I couldn't stand it. Man, that trophy done cost me a pile of money. Oh, man.
I'm telling you, I don't know what it is with field trialing, man. It's like the field trialing knows when you're coming there for the first time. It just gives you that bait, and it just hooks and sinker.
Oh yeah, it'll get you. It'll get you for sure. And yeah, I placed that dog, and man, like I said, Mom and Daddy never really helped me out. When I went to school and stuff, they'd always make sure that, the dogs were fed and stuff. But besides that, I had to come back and cut grass and stuff on the weekends or work my jobs in the summer. That's where my entry fees came from. That's even after that hunt, I didn't get a chance. I probably went to a hunt every 6 or 8 weeks, but when I went, I couldn't take but a dog or two because that's all the money I had. But, man, I had a ball back then.
Right.
That stuff was fun as could be, man. That's when some of these young cats are getting in it now, and they're just ate up with it and stuff. And, I mean, even you, man, you doing all this stuff like the podcast. And, man, I used to breathe this stuff. I really did. Even 8-10 years ago, I breathed it, like lived and breathed it. And it was fun. It was so much fun. And I love seeing younger kids and anybody really that gets started and gets fired up like that, because it reminds me reminds me, really why we do it. That's really all it's for.
That's right. That's right. And I don't think you've really lost that itch, have you? I mean, shoot, you still going as much as you possibly can, it seems like.
Man, I'll be honest with you, I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
The sport has gotten more competitive because for realistically speaking, I've been field trialing for 16 years now.
Yeah.
I've probably been really competitive for 7 or 8, maybe.
Right.
If you go back a little ways. Before that, I didn't know I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning every day.
That's right.
But to do it right, James, it's a job.
Yeah.
And I've already got a job. I run a business. I got 22 employees now. I got a little girl playing softball. She's a fireball player. I love coaching her and stuff. And I coach her team. I've been coaching for like 5 seasons now. I got a little boy getting ready to start playing, and I have a ball with them. I love the dogs. And if I'm going to do it, I've got to do it 100% right. So I never go to the dog lot and not do it how I'm supposed to. I mean, there's days here or there, where I don't get what I get done.
Of course.
But to me, it's 10 years ago, you show up to a hunt with 400 dogs and you had to beat 100 of them. Because 300 people were just there. They were there to have a good time and stuff.
Yep.
And now you show up to a hunt at Creedmoor Pools or somewhere like that. I mean, everywhere is competitive, but you show up to a hunt at Creedmoor with 250 dogs, you got to beat 200 of them.
Yep.
Every time you show up.
That was one of the things that always stood out to me when Dennis Scott was kind of helping me along when I first got started. He said, man, he's like, and he'd kind of been out of it a little bit. He hadn't been quite into it like he was. He said, man, all you have to do is get your dogs in shape, and you've already beat 3/4 of the field. And then, like you're talking about, that just being in shape don't cut it no more.
Yeah, I mean, and it's good for people talk about now the breeding and everything like that, and it's gone downhill and stuff, but everybody's looking more now for a field trial dog instead of a dog that you can take on the outside and have a good time with.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's about scoring points now, and a lot of people don't understand. It's not really how they get them. Every man's going to feed a dog that makes him happy. Some people like a dog they can take on a Saturday morning or a Friday night and get their name called.
Right.
Other people like a dog that they can take on Saturday morning in the deer woods and kill something in front of me. I mean, if I'm going to feed him, I want him to be able to do everything.
That's right.
If we want to see who can swim the fastest, I hope I got a dog who can swim real fast,
Right.
I want him to do everything.
You want to beat him, and you want to beat everybody that comes there to beat you.
I said, if we see which dog lays down first, I hope I got one that lays down real quick. I want them to compete in everything. And I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's different strokes for different folks. The man's got to like what he's feeding.
Yep.
He's got to look at it. He's got to feed it. He's got to love it. It's at the end of the day, it's on him.
That's right. That's right. Say I did not get into the sport but a few years ago, but even in that short time frame of 4 or 5 years, however long it's been, I've even noticed a swing in the competitiveness of what you're running against now. What do you think? I know we're going a little off script with this question, but what do you think has been the driving factor behind more competitive dogs and not just the guys that show up just to have a good time? But what's kind of your thought on that? The Hounds podcast is proud to partner with Cajun Lights, who have jumped on board to support the field trialing community. Do you have nighttime field trials? Pleasure running at night? When you need to catch that next crossing at night, put your trust in Cajun Lights. Cajun Lights is a made-in-America product out of North Carolina who has been in business for over 25 years. These are cap-style and bucket hat headlamps to free up that extra hand for your voice recorder or your GPS. Whether it's the Cajun Micro Gator for those late-night feeds, the cost-efficient Cajun Bayou for pleasure running, or the top-level Cajun Blinder for field trials, never miss a thing with these amazing lights. All the lights come with a 2-year warranty and a lifetime labor warranty. These guys are excited to get into our sport, ladies and gentlemen, so be sure, if you see me at a hunt, come ask me about them. I'll have one of each style on hand ready to show you. You can visit their website at CajunLights.com, and their phone number is 888-773-3080. Thank you, Cajun Lights, for coming on board with the Hounds Tales podcast. Now let's get back to the show.
I mean, James, I'd probably say, I mean, like I said, I've been in it for X amount of years. Back then, the entry fees were lower. Everybody was set in their ways. Most people ran in a fox pen once a week or once every 10 days, and they ran all night.
Right.
There's more people doing this shit right now than I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
You know, every Joe Blow you ride through any county, you may see 50 dog boxes on the back of a truck 12 months out of the year, whereas 10, 15 years ago, you'd see 50 dog boxes, but it was probably the first week in November,
Right.
and that was in Virginia.
Right.
Other places, it's just, what I've seen, it hasn't been like that. There's so many people doing it. There's so much competition out here. Everybody's trying to go to a hunt, so there's always a want for somebody to do something.
Right.
So, I mean, all the fox pens, they're booked up, There's
Right.
not many places you can go run 12 hours anymore. A lot of places are, a lot of pens in Carolina, they're running morning, evening, they don't have enough room for everybody to do it. So everybody's trying to do it. Entry fees are higher. People are putting more time and effort into it because they're realizing if you don't, at the end of the day, if you really want to compete, you ain't going to get your name called.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that whole-heartedly. It's a whole lot easier to just show up somewhere and spend $30 on a hunt than it is going somewhere and spending $7,500.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, me personally, $100 is not a very light amount of money for me, and I think a lot of people are like that. I don't think it's a light amount for anybody. That's not something you go and just say, well, let's just see what happens. Let's just blow $100 on one dog. And I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, so you got so many more people doing it. Like I said, back in the day when you got started, we go to a 3-day, it'd be $45 a dog to run. Right. Everybody's taking the house, because they're going to. That's another thing I'd say is that there's so many hunts now, James. There's so many hunts.
Right.
Even back when I first started, and all I wanted to do was one day hunt around the house at Hollywood or Turpin's Creek was Captain John's then or Tower Hill or something like that. People can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday, but there was a hunt a month. Usually one a month or something like that. So you got time to save up, and the entry fees were $25 a dog.
That's
so
right.
Hell, I didn't have it back then, but average working man, he could save up for a few weeks and just take his dog's pleasure running and then take, 5 or 6 or 7 to a hunt. So there's less people to me bringing more dogs, whereas now you go to you go to a puppy hunt and most times $40, $50 a head.
Right.
So, you have more people bringing less dogs.
And 20 trucks there.
That's it.
Yep. I know. I mean, heck, it was a one day it was the Dismal one day that I judged earlier this year at pools. I mean, you're talking 350 plus dogs, whatever it was. And I mean, every kennel in the lower lots was full. Yeah. It was not, it was so many trucks, lined up side by side. I think some guys even had to park and ask people to put their dogs on their last second so they could be casted down the chute.
That's right.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts. But it's good.
It's good. At the end of the day, it's good for the sport because the more people you have doing it, regardless if they can't bring as many dogs or anything, it's good for the sport. It's more competition, more people involved, more, it's good for the economy too, wherever you're at. You got more people trying to do something, bringing more money into the area, the state, everything like that. It's great. But I like the fact, I don't personally think that I've got a pile of good dogs, to take to. I like to think I do. But at the end of the day, a lot of these hunts that are 3 or 4 dog limits or something, they hunted Hollywood, the 2-day coming up. I think Chad said he's going to do three numbers per killer. I think that's great. That way you got more people trying to come, and, hopefully you get a better group of dogs. But, a lot of people can't afford to take 10. By the time you take 10, you take them and train them and get them ready and you feed them and take care of them the way it should. You got a whole lot more than that $100 a dog coming into that hunt for sure.
That's right. Me and MJ were just talking about that the other day. It's like, man, even you take 5 head, even before you leave the house, you done spent $500, $600, $700 to go to a multi-day hunt now. And that's before you even walk out the door.
I used to tell MJ every time we go to a 3-day, we'd be painting dogs or anything. Hell, if I'd take 6 or 7, he'd take 4 or 5. I told him, I said, before we paint numbers on the dogs, we got 1,000 on them.
That's right.
You know, by the time,
That's
I mean, but I mean, I tell my wife all the time, I love this stuff, man. I still do. I don't love it like I did, but I tell her I'm kind of a, I don't know, whatever you call it. It might just be ADHD or something, but I got to go all the time. I don't even like fishing that much. If they outlawed this stuff tomorrow, I'd sell everything. I guess I'd get a bass boat and go to the lake every weekend. I don't even like fishing, but I got to do something.
Got to do something. Yep.
So,
I'm right there with you. Yep, I'm 100% right there with you. So you just got back from Canada, and that's one thing I think is pretty cool, man. I think you've been going up there every year for a while now, ain't you?
I think that was a border. It's funny. The immigration man asked me how many times I've been. I told him I didn't know. I think it was the 6th trip I've been.
Okay. Yep. I gotcha. And you had a heck of a hunt up there, man. You know what? You know, kind of tell us how the hunt went. It looked like it was a good weekend for you.
Man, I had a hunt, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We had it did not go as planned because you've hunted around me a little bit. A lot of people probably listening have hunted around me or met me or heard of me or everything, but I like putting the work in before I get to the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, my old kennel partner Derek used to get so damn mad at me. But, I mean, we hunted every weekend, twice a weekend, because him and I both worked. So we hunted on the weekend. We hunted hard.
Right.
He gets so damn mad at me when I go to a field trial because I like to drink and have a good time, you know, play cards and everything. I'm a firm believer that if they're not right before you get there, they're not going to be right while you're there.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Why not relax and have a good time? Because if you ain't done it, you know, 8 to 10 weeks beforehand, you pissing in the wind anyway.
Right.
I mean, you can get a dog ready in a few weeks to go to a 1-day run through 4 or 5 hours or something like that. But when you got to get this sucker to go 3 days in a row for 5 hours of hard running, you either put the work in or you didn't.
That's
so,
right.
So come hunt time, I'm right there with the best of them. I like to have a good time.
No.
You know, I'm going to get up, try to make cast every day possible and do all that and take care of them after the hunt. But I'm there to hang out with my buddies because at the end of the day, watching a dog run and hanging out with my friends, drinking a couple cold beers, playing cards is about as good as that's going to get for me.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. So me and my buddy Catfish, we headed north last Wednesday with a truckload, and we had a slight inconvenience at the border. And I'll leave it at that. But I was able to get through, and he had to turn around and go back south.
No kidding.
Yeah, he got turned around, but my buddy Catfish, he works like hell on his dogs, man. Him, Colby Taylor, a few other ones that I call friends, man, they run dogs more than most people go to work. I ain't lying. Hey, I'm proud of them. I do a pile of work with them, and I mean, I sit back, but them boys go hunting.
Yeah.
So I felt bad because my buddy had been wanting to come on this trip with me for years. Like I said, I think it's the 6th time I've been. I think the first time I went was probably 8 years ago. I missed a year or 2 there for COVID or something like that going on, but I go pretty regularly once a summer because it works pretty well for us because it's hot as hell down here.
Yes, God, yes.
And I'm not one to burn a dog up. So if you've got him right, I'm not running him in a 3-day in June, July, August, unless I had to or something. I'm not a big fan of it. Mm-hmm. It's hard on him. Yeah. Whereas up there, most times, you know, if it's 95 down here, up there it's 80. And it's 80 feels like 80, not 95 feels like 104.
Right.
So, I mean, we condition in the heat down here, and up there the dogs can breathe, man. It feels like a breath of fresh air for them. They can scoot. I mean, they feel good. I mean, if you're in Canada going to a hunt in the summertime down here, you want it to get hot up there. You want it to be 85 because your dogs are used to 95. Theirs up there, they don't like that heat, man. You can run them down. Not really run them down. Them boys up there got good dogs, but you are at the advantage if you're a Southerner and you go north when it's hot.
Right, catch a heat wave up there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I'm getting off track again. But my buddy got turned. My buddy got turned around. We had 24 head in the truck. I couldn't get him a ride south on the truck, so I told him. I said, Clint, I'm taking them.
Right.
So, me and the dogs were fine. So I put him in a car back in New York, and we turned him around. I headed north by my damn self with 25 head.
Good God Almighty.
Yeah, it was not pleasant. The most I'd ever taken to a hunt by myself before this was 13, and that was earlier this year to Southeastern.
Yep.
Because I'm a vice president and I try to support the hunt, and I took the house. I do not recommend taking 13 by yourself, much less 25. So, yeah.
God, I hope you got some help while you were up there.
I did, man. Them boys up there, they're good as gold. And one of the reasons I can tell you that I go to Canada as much as I can, I don't know how many more times I'll make the trip. This one kind of broke me a little bit, but I'll be honest with you, man, my kids are my daughter's 8, my son's 4. They know when Daddy's not home now.
That's right.
And 5 days gone, man, they're asking for me every day. I miss my kids, miss my wife. Hell, she can put up with me being gone that long, taking care of the kids. I love her more than most things.
Right.
But I don't know how many more times I'll be able to take that trip without taking them.
That's right. We're going to take a quick second here and interrupt this episode and let you all know about our friends over at Southern Hound Hunting Magazine. Do you enjoy reading stories from houndsmen across the country? Diving into real-life experiences out there in the woods with working hounds of every kind? Deer dogging, bear dogging, hog dogging, small game dogging, you name it, the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine has it. And it's bringing it to you page after page while also spreading a positive image of this beautiful sport that we all love. Be sure to sign up today, and for just $15 a year, you can have quarterly magazines filled with nothing but dog hunting sent right to your door. Check them out today at southernhoundhunting.com and get in the hunt. Let's get back to the episode.
I got up there Wednesday evening around 4 o'clock, and I was real frustrated because usually it's not that bad from where you and I live. It's about a 10 and a half hour trip.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a pretty heavy foot, but I can make a trip across the border from house to house at my buddy Andrew's house. I can be there in sub 10 and a half hours. And it was a long day, but I ended up getting to Andrew's about 3:45. And because it's only 45 minutes into Canada. You're not,
right.
People think you go to Canada, Canada, hell's bigger than the United States. I mean, them son of bitches drive 40 hours from one side to the other, still ain't made it.
Jesus.
But,
absolutely
yeah,
not.
Them suckers up there can drive, man. I don't know how the hell they do it, but they love driving, more power to them. Them boys up there, that one pen that we go to at Mullins, a lot of them boys go up there and run weekly. They'll drive 5 hours one way just to go pleasure hunt. Them so much are dedicated. I can tell you that.
Right
they better men than me because I'd never do it.
That's dedication.
Yeah, but I got up there Wednesday night and I got everything unloaded. I got everything fed up. It was probably about 6:30. A young boy, Caden Chase, come up there, and he lives right around there. He's a young boy. I don't think I think he's 17 years old. He's a good boy. He came over. He helped me feed up and stuff. And I told him, he said, "What you going to do now?" I said, "Man, I'm going to take a shower and get me a bite to eat. I'm going to the casino." They got a casino like 20 minutes from there.
No kidding.
I got to go get my fix in. So I went that night because I knew it'd be an all night. I could probably have fun. And I went that night and I got into them. I paid for the trip. I finally got them. They done got me like the past 5 years. So went over there and made some money.
Started the week on with a little luck at least.
That's it. I went over there and made me some money, paid for the trip, and I came back and got me a good night's sleep. I got a good 8 hours of sleep, and I woke up the next morning about 5:30, and I went and got me a biscuit at a little country store they got up there. Well, I don't know if it's country. It's Canadian store. Yeah, it's country store for them. It's probably Canadian store for us, but they got some pretty good food. I went and got me a bite to eat, and I came back, and I started painting dogs, and I think I started at 7:15. I had a little rain shower there in the middle, and I think I finished painting and feeding everything about 3:30 that evening.
Okay.
Yeah, I rolled through them, but man, my back still hurts from that, man.
I bet your back was wrecked.
Yeah. So my buddy Andrew there that I stay at, Andrew Gray, shout out to him. He good man. Him, his wife, and kids. They're very hospitable to us because, I mean, up there, the kennel situation at Mullins, there's kennels there, but it's not what we're used to down here in the States. It's just, I mean, we're spoiled, man. Creedmoor pools, Triple B, places like that. I mean, it's, Swainsboro, all the places I've been in the States, upper echelon. And up there, it's, they just they don't have a fenced out kennel yard. They just got kennels right in the middle of the pen in the field, and they don't have running water, electricity right there. It's hard to kennel them there. So
Right.
I kennel them at a buddy's house, and he wasn't running the hunt because that pen up there, man, it's tough as light or not on a dog. I mean, y'all think Hollywood's tough on one. I mean, this place is a different world. I think it's 700 acres. There's some fields. There's some fields, a lot of open woods, but every 3 steps you take in open woods is a rock. And I'm not talking about like a piece of 57 gravel. I'm talking about like a rock or a boulder.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, so it's tough. I mean, there's cliffs, there's swamps, there's everything, a little bit of everything in there, but on a dog, it's hard.
Yeah.
So them boys have learned, you got to pick and choose your hunts. You can't go to a hunt in April and then turn around and go to another hunt in there in May.
That's right.
Your dogs ain't gonna be back right. It's gonna take a while. So fortunate for me, because he's a pretty good dog, man, and he keeps some good dogs, and that's his home drag. He won't run it. So he got up every morning and helped me collar dogs and get them fed and touched up and everything and get them in the truck. And we go over to the fox pen and turn them loose. Well, the first day I was I was distraught because we turned loose. I turned loose 25 head, collars and everything on them. And that hurricane, went out to the coast and then came back in.
Oh, I didn't pay no attention to that.
Yeah, so the sucker was hit. I went up there to get away from it. I make the plans to go there 3 months before.
Yeah,
but
right.
I was like, man, I'm getting away for it. Well, it came back in and it hit us at 1 o'clock that morning. I'm sleeping in a camper in his yard, man, and it was raining so hard at 1 o'clock. I ain't sleep from 1 to 3. I mean, it was pouring. So we got pretty lucky at the hunt, man. But we cast dogs at 6 o'clock that morning, and I'm just, me
exhausted,
come cast. I was tired, but I mean, me come cast. I'm looking a biscuit, and I'm gonna drink a beer or something.
That's right.
I bet you, James, to preface the story. Well, I know for a fact. I don't want to bet. I was up there from Wednesday to Sunday. I didn't drink 12 cold beers.
No kidding. Just couldn't.
I couldn't, man.
Yeah, that busy. Yeah.
I had too much work to do, and I didn't want to feel like hell the next morning, and I knew that I didn't want to miss something because, man, catfishing them, they don't put the time in. I had put the time in. The dogs were right. I wanted to give them the chance. I mean, so I was so out of disarray after cast because I knew it was raining up there, man. It was raining all damn day. It was going to rain till dark, like a good rain, and I had to catch 25 head. That pen is not easy to catch dogs. I don't have dogs that you can catch. I don't tone or shock or train none of my dogs like that, and it's just I knew what I had in front of me. Well, needless to say, cast was over. We saw some dogs running good at the gate. Dogs, some American dogs look good, some Canadian dogs look good.
Right.
But it took me 2 hours and 35 minutes to get caught up.
Golly.
Yeah. So it's funny because it like I said, those people up there, man, they're good as gold.
Right.
I'd say that they're more hospitable up there than, some of the hunts you come to down here. You're going to have your buddies that you have fun with down here at hunts and stuff like that, and other people are maybe a little standoffish. Man, up there, everybody's a friend.
No kidding.
Everybody, they hear me talking, you and I don't think I got no accent, but up there you sound, like we're from Japan.
I was going to say completely foreign.
Yeah, so but I mean, they're all good people, man. They want to ask you 100 questions about your dogs, this and that, what you do, what you breed and everything, but they more are apt to help you than they are help themselves just because they want to help you. And I had help every day, people helping catch dogs and stuff like that. But the president of the association, Donnie Killenbeck, he told me, he said, Tyler, he said, I know what you're up against. I'm not going to have a bench show until you catch up.
Wow.
I said, man, I appreciate it. Because they don't have it like we do, So they usually get that stuff over with, and then everybody goes back to their kennels, right outside the pen or 15, 20 minutes away. See, they get it done with. Gotcha. And he waited, and sure enough, the last dog that I caught her at 2 hours and 40 minutes or 35 or whatever. I come up, and 15 minutes later, the bench show starts.
Wow.
And I won the bench show with her. I made a bench champion with that second jip. I call Bales off a second cross, Black Bear and Harley.
Okay.
Yeah, so started off pretty good. But no, the first day, I think between me and Cashflow, I think I had 6 in the top 10 between 2 classes. He had another one, and we had pile banging on the door. So we had a great day.
Daggone right.
Um,
Daggone right.
yeah, and enough to get you fired up. And then the second day, I had some dogs shuffle around. It looked good at the gate, though, man. Old John Deere, he's a tough old bird. I ain't been trying to hunt him hard since he got miles on him. But them
Yeah.
first 2 days, man, at the gate, he rough character.
How
saw some
old
other
is he
younger-
now? He's what, 3? Is he 3 now?
5 years old.
Is he
5?
Daggone.
Yeah, that's an old bird, man. I got him as an older dog.
Okay.
I got him as an older dog to breed, to think about breeding or something later on in the end. And I got my hands on him, got him feeling good, and he's a dog, man. But he looked good. I ain't been hunting him too hard, so he was ready to take a beating. And but after going there to the last day, I think I was third. He was third speed and drive, fourth HGA, and that's where he finished. I had another dog that was third HGA, was leading the hunting, and was like 8 speed. I had another dog who was fifth speed and drive. I had another dog who was 7th. I had 2 more knocking on the door. I mean, I had a pile of bullets in the gun, and it just worked out the last day, man. And the dog that won the hunt, I told Catfish I didn't win the hunt, but the dog that won the hunt, and my buddy Sam LaForce's, he ain't been in it long. The boy's learning. I mean, he can pay attention and learn, because I've seen him at a couple hunts a couple years back, and I mean, it's night and day from what his dogs look like. I saw his dog all the first 2 days. The last day I had to go over and get my stuff packed up and stuff, but first 2 days, I was telling myself and Catfish and a couple others, if there was a dog in there that was going to beat me that weekend, it was that one, and damn, he sure enough did.
And just did pull it out, too.
He had a jip look good, man. And I had a strong last day. I had some dogs put up some hunting scores the last day and help out, because, I mean, I don't think it cast but 60 head. And,
oh, wow.
We placed a couple dogs in the Derby, too. I mean, I had a good Derby showing. It just, all around, it was a good hunt. To me, it was kind of a blur, because I was working damn dogs so much. But
right. So I want to touch on that bench show thing, though, for a second. So pretty much right after they get up, the dogs, they go straight into a bench show?
Well, so and their dogs up there, man, the pen, like I said, is hard on a dog, and it's hard to get dogs up. Mm-hmm. So they tone break dogs like hell. I mean, that's their MO. So they sit at the cabin yard and they tone them to them. Okay. So I think the first day we cast 150 head split class hunt. I think it was 50-some derbies. The rest of them were all age. So it's not that many dogs in the hunt. I had 25 between me and Cash Flow, and probably 90 of them, James, were tone broke, so they ain't had to be caught. The hunt was over. They started beating them. Some bitches coming looking for you.
Right.
Yeah, so they usually get their stuff over. The hunt was over at 11 that day, so they usually let scores come in. Judges have a meeting and everything. Scores will come out. As soon as the scores come out, they'll do the bench show. Wow. That way they go ahead and get it over with, And then, because nobody really kennels there. Everybody kennels pretty close or, 20, 30 minutes away, so nobody has to go and come back,
Gotcha.
They get it over with.
So,
but no, it's a hard running pen too, man. Like I said, I think it's 1240, 1215, wind to speed and drive. I've really never went up there and not had good running. That damn place jams.
And it's nothing but yotes up there, right?
Oh yeah, we got yotes down here. Them some bitches up there got coyotes. they weigh like 55 pounds. I mean, some of them are kind of like crossbreed wolves and stuff. Yeah, I mean it's a difference in sizing up a coyote down here is 30-some pounds or something than one up there that's 50, 55. I mean,
that's a big dog.
Yeah. Yeah, we got yotes. They got coyotes. They got some full-grown men up there.
Do you think they run faster up there?
No.
Okay.
I think they know the terrain. To me, honestly, the pen up there, compared to Creedmoor or Triple B or something like that, or Swainsboro, the pen is slower. Okay. But the coyotes know the terrain better. It's hard for a dog. I mean, you'll see times where they're tailgating and they're up on him, but for the most part, it's not a slow pen, but it's slower than what we hunt in down here.
Gotcha.
So they don't have to. To me, they don't have to have enough wind. And at the end of the day, you're in his home. He's not in ours.
That's right.
They know how to get around.
And like you said, those big dogs, they probably got a good sense to them to be in that kind of pen and have that kind of size to them. So they're going to know the pen like you're talking about and be able to navigate it and get away when they need to get away.
Oh, yeah, they know the deal. There's plenty of them in there, too. They do like most good pens that are ran. They'll switch off. They know the deal. It's all a game to them.
That's right. Well, that's awesome, man. The Hounds Tales podcast has teamed up with First Form Outdoors to get behind the hunters. Yes, that's right, the hunters. We as houndsmen put so much focus on our dogs that sometimes we forget to focus on our own selves and our health. Whether you're in the woods racing to get in front of that big buck chase or in the wire for 5 hours catching crossings up and down the path, we are constantly draining our bodies all day long. First Form offers energy drinks, hydration products, protein snacks, and other supplements to get us back up and going while we are doing what we love. Show yourself some love and visit firstform.com, and that's the number 1, STPHORM.com to check these guys out. And from here on out at all hunts, I will have products available for purchase. If you have any requests that you see when you visit firstform.com, feel free to contact me and place an order, and we'll make that happen. Now, back to the episode. That's one of the trips that I hope before, because I mean, like I got a little boy too. He's 2, and me and the wife talk about having another kid here soon. So I'm gonna be kind of in that same boat here before too long, where family's gonna kind of take over, and I don't know how much field trialing I'm gonna be able to do. But that's one of the trips I hope that I can make either before or after that time frame where I can't be away like I've been doing here lately.
Yeah, I tell everybody you need to do it once. I mean, up there is a pile of good people, man. They, if you really want to go and you put the word out up there, somebody is going to help you out. Because I mean, most of them are salt to the earth, man. They're good as gold, and they don't get me wrong. Now they want to compete and they want to beat you, but they want you to come up there with them because they're good. They're good people, man, and they don't mind helping anybody out.
I like that, man. I definitely will have to make it up there one year. So that, let's roll into the past couple of years. You kind of touched on it a little bit there earlier. You've been on a pretty good little roll here I know at least the past 2 years. What's some of the big dogs over the past couple of years? We mentioned John Deere. We can start with John Deere, man. That was you had 2 hunts straight in a row that you made he made a champion. That's something you don't see very often. 2 hunts straight in a row, back to back.
No, man, I tell everybody all the time, he don't have my name on either side of his pedigree. He's Jet Pilot Ray and Butler's Abbey. He's one of the first dogs I've had at the house in probably 10 years, besides Ducati and Fuzzy. I mean, I've been fortunate to have some good dogs, but he's one of the ones that because I deer hunt everything. If you eat feed at the house, you going deer hunting. We got to run a deer. He's one of the first ones I've had at the house that doesn't have my name on either side of him in years, that runs a deer the right way for me from start to finish. And the way I run deer may be different than other people, but he don't mind getting him going. He don't mind sticking him, don't mind staying with him, and he can get him in a bind too. He wants to run left, right, or center. It really don't matter. The old man can pick him up, but he's a really good male dog. I got him from a good buddy of mine, Chad Perkins, and I lucked up because when Chad got him, he had a little problem. I had to get a couple surgeries done on his nuts were kind of rubbing him, and he was chafing and stuff. But Chad didn't like the way he run a red fox, which honestly, when I got him, he didn't run a red the right way neither. And Chad and I both hunted Hollywood, and to stay at the house, you got to look good in there.
That's right.
And I was fortunate enough. Chad gets fed up with them like I do at most times, and my name was in the hat, and I wanted him, and I got him, and I saw some sparks in him and stuff, and found that he had a little hitch in his giddy up, and I was able to fix it, man, and that sucker came to life. I mean, he was, Chad had him in great health and everything. It was just something I found on his back end that seemed to be bothering him a little bit, and I got it figured out. And I mean, he had spurts there that deer season because he won't qualify the first year that I got him for the invitation. I mean, that's my hunt. That's really the only reason I hunt is to go to that hunt.
That's right.
So I deer hunted that sucker, and I deer hunted him, and that sucker can run one. I mean, Justin Scott and them boys, Carrico, a few others hunt with me. I mean, he can run him. No. When we know he's on the ground and we know he's hitting and we know he's right and we know that he's pushing. But he's a super nut.
Picked up better on Fox yet, or is he still kind of iffy on Fox?
I mean, if I had to go over there and go pleasure running tomorrow, he ain't the best dog that I'm feeding. But if he's there, you gonna be in a world of hurt.
I got you.
He picks and chooses his battle, but he's older now. He don't need to,
That's
go out
right.
there and try to outrun those big dogs all the time. Now, you put him on a coyote and somewhere he can stretch out or anything, he's still probably one of the best ones I'm feeding at the house. But I always say that pleasure running and field trialing are two different things. And to me, he deer hunts great. He pleasure rides on a coyote. He looks good. Now he can look bad at times too. Anybody that says they don't see a dog looking bad just don't watch him enough.
That's
but
right. That's right.
You put him in the heat of the moment and everything, and he's been in. I mean, he hasn't been top 5 in every hunt he's been in. He did make a champion back to back, and he won the Southern Classic with like 240 head or something in a single class down there, and popped a hunting score the last day. And he didn't win the speed. And he went back 4 weeks later and won the speed and drive, and left it without a doubt.
Yep.
He's a great
River,
dog.
right?
As the James River. Yep. 4 weeks later, I took him back, and he's a good dog when he's right, man. He knows the game. He knows how to field trial, but he's a dog that can take it and keep going with it.
Nice.
He's not. To me, he ain't gonna cut your throat and be back in the road 50 yards. Now I've seen him do it, but for the most part, he can command a big pack of dogs and hold on to it for an extended period of time. He's what I look for in a male. He's got pulling points, as me and some of the boys in the spot up and run group say.
Sounds like he's got a heck of a nose behind him too. Just the way you kind of talk about him in the deer woods and
he does, man. The dog, and that's one of the things that really helps him is he can smell stuff that other dogs can't.
Right.
I've had dogs with good noses, and he's definitely up there with the best of them. But he can smell him where other people can't, and it gets him in trouble from time to time.
Right.
It's hard to go run in a place that's got a pile of game and not smell other stuff and pick off. I'd never say a dog's perfect.
That's
Anybody listening or anything say they got a dog that's perfect, they ain't watched him run enough.
That's right. That's right. So, they're watching the results and then not watching them.
Nah, that's right. But no, I think I've got 20 some puppies off of them at the house right now. A lot of them are little. I'm getting ready to break your first group next month. They're horses, man. They off a good gyp of mine that I liked a whole lot. The gyp I call Mary Kate. Mary Kate. Yep. She was a Jimmy and Hooker, and I placed that dog at Big Rock. She was second at the Top Gun at Creedmoor. Placed her at Pools. Placed her at Creedmoor a few more times. She's just a nice, good all-around solid gyp. And these man, I think it's 3 males and 2 gyps in that litter. They're big. They're like huge. I don't know if they're gonna be too big, but I mean they look good. They move good. The time will tell here in the next 6 months if old boy gonna produce something like him.
That's right. I remember you were talking the other day. I thought you said you had about 5 litters on the ground with them.
Yeah, I got 3 personally at the house. I think I got 6 other people that bred to him now.
Very nice.
So maybe they'll work out. I don't know. Yeah. Everybody can try what they want and stuff. I never really try to push anything down anybody's throat. But
that's right.
If it means anything bleeding at the house that ain't off of, ain't too close to them, we're gonna try it and find out.
That's all right.
That's it.
So, I know another big one that's in your kennels. I think she's still alive, Harley.
No, she's not, man. Man, that was a golden goose.
Yep. I couldn't remember if she had passed or not. I couldn't remember or not.
Yeah. So she passed away. Probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago now.
Okay, I got you.
Man, that was my golden goose.
Yep.
I really fortunate. Everybody asks me, having a good dog or anything. I've been fortunate enough to have a few. I've had quite a few, what I would say, good dogs, but great dogs. I've probably only had 2 thus far. And I mean, John Deere's got his initials and everything, and I might put him up there as a great dog. But the 2 great dogs that I've had at the kennel would have to be Little Mule's Hooker and Little Mule's Harley.
Yep.
Harley was. She was a ham, man. She was a handful. We brought her home as a puppy. I got her from my good buddy Derek. I had to prod her out of him, and I got lucky because I think it litter had like 5 gyps in it or something. I had to have her.
Right.
And the only reason I think I got her is because she barked in the whelping box. Man, she barked. Oh, she was bark. Oh man, she was a handful. So
So
she was something when I had the kennels closed. She always let you know she was there.
So that's where he gets it from. Like, I still got that one dog off of her, and Lord have mercy, he does not know how to shut up at the lots.
Oh yeah, no, and to me it was more she was excited. You know,
Yep.
she don't really. When you go down there to feed, she was always going to let you know she was there and
That's it.
everything. You get her fed up and stuff, she can hang out. But if my truck rolled up at the kennels, no matter if they're where they are now, my old house, or she was with us. Her and Hooker were when I still live with my parents. But man, that was a good dog. Harley would from a puppy. I never forget. I had her. She was like 10, 11 months old, and I've never been real big into puppy hunts.
Right.
I like going to a puppy hunt, putting them in a group of dogs, but I never forget. I took her to a puppy hunt. The first one she was in, I took her to Java, and she didn't place. And I just, like I said, I didn't know much about her dog, still don't, but I thought she was right. And a couple of people came over and said they saw her the last hour looking great,
Right.
but the last hour is a whole lot different than the first three.
That's
Well, I
right.
took her to the next one, about a month later at Hollywood, and I want to say she was 12th.
Okay.
And my buddy, little Ricky Burnley, came out and he tried to buy her. And I like the Jip. She a white Jip. She got a good nose on her and she can move something. He said, Tyler, ain't gonna lie. I never forget WT's last Trixie
Yeah.
won the hunt.
Okay.
That was one of her arch nemesis because I feel like every damn hunt I ran the dog in, every hunt she placed in, last Trixie was in front or behind her, or she was always there.
Right around each
But
other.
that's it. Last Trixie won. Harley was 12th, but little Ricky came over and said they were putting on a show the last hour. Said that white Jip was doing what she was supposed to, and I took her to the southeastern. I took her to the southeastern a month later, and she was 7th in hunting, like 11th or 12th speed. And I took her to the Maryland State like 5 or 6 weeks after that, and she blew the hunter at the Derby the first day. And Dennis was running them Jips, and he almost ran me down the second day.
Oh, yeah.
But he almost ran me down. And I don't think she had a bad scoring day. I don't think it was because she didn't get seen, but she won that Derby. I ran her in the all age. I want to say altogether category in her HGA, and that dog HGA'd her category in 14 different multiple day hunts.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
she could field trial, man. It didn't matter. I hunted at pools a lot back then because the running was just phenomenal. And the running's phenomenal now. I don't let me talk bad on anybody, but I can't tell you the amount of WT's last Trixie and Little Mule's Harley 6-7 years ago. If there was a 3-day at pools, we paired them every day. We won 2 out of the 3 pairs that weekend at every hunt, with each Jip putting up over 300. I mean, we had a ball with them dogs. It was good running, good scoring, and it's good running now. And the scoring seems to be back after the dismal. But I placed her at Creedmoor. I placed her in Canada. I placed her at Joe's, I believe. I placed her about everywhere. But she was a great dog, and one of the best things that she did, quoting my buddy, my good buddy that you had on here, Jay Bird McGee. He told me, he said, a good dog is a good dog. A great dog does everything right. And besides barking too much in the lot, that Jip did everything right. She field trial well. She was an excellent mama dog, but on the back end, she raised winners too.
Yeah.
Every litter I had her at that Jip, there's been a couple really good dogs.
Yeah.
Not exceptionally, a great dog, but there's been a couple really good dogs at every litter that Jip threw.
Yep. I mean, hell, the one that I have, when I got him, he was coming off that injury in that back end, but rested him for a while, and I went back and looked. I write everything down after a hunt. I write down the results, where he finished, and that dog placed in like 6 or 7 different pens between Virginia and North Carolina, and placed like 15, 16 times, and that was back when I had not a freaking clue of what I was doing.
That's right.
That dog earned my respect, for that. That's why he's still sitting at the lots, because, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and he still went out there and was competitive in all different kinds of environments. I want to take a second and talk about Frontline Optics real quick, guys. They are a sunglasses company that is owned and operated by frontline workers, fires and emergency services, guys. They have designed glasses with us in mind, with the frontline workers in mind, people that are out there using your sunglasses every day and don't want to break the bank and have a pair of sunglasses get broke and have to and just be out of that that crazy amount of money. Guys, these are high quality polarized sunglasses that are durable, affordable, and ultimately represent our lifestyle. In addition to that, a portion of all proceeds from the sale of these glasses is donated to First Responders Children's Foundation. It is in support of those children who have lost a parent in the line of duty. How cool is that, guys? So, guys, check these guys out, frontlineoptics.com. Go to their website, and when you go to check out, be sure to type in the promo code Hounds Tales. That's TALES while you check out, and you'll receive 15% off your first purchase. Also, these guys have a first-time replacement, no questions asked program. Be sure to check that out, guys. These guys are awesome. I can't thank them enough for jumping on board, and we'll get back to the show.
That's right.
So it seems like that's what she's throwing.
Man, she threw a good dog. It hurts me. But I mean, at the end of the day, the Gyp did, she lived a great life, and she loved her time here at the house. And I'm not good with keeping up with numbers and stuff, but I want to say I had 7 or 8 litters off of Gyp, and she's thrown me a winner, whether it's been a puppy hunt, up to a field champion in every litter, man. Or a bench champion. I mean, she really was. She's a golden goose of producers, as Chris Wright used to say. He wanted a golden goose, and he had Sissy Joe and a couple others. Harley was my golden goose, and I don't know if I'll ever get another one, but at least I've lived through a point to where I can say I had one.
That's right.
But on top of her, I gotta shed a little bit of spotlight. I hate talking my dogs up, but the hooker Gyp that I had, Little Mule's hooker, was off of Champion Opie's Gigolo and Cedar Grove Misty 2, which was straight off Hollywood.
Okay.
That was to this day the best dog I've ever fed.
No kidding.
Top to bottom. I didn't know a damn thing what I was doing. That Gyp would go out there and run a field trial, run 100 miles an hour for 15 hours. She would hunt like a bird dog. She'd trail a coyote, a deer, a rabbit up on the outside, and would run them to catch them. Didn't matter where it was, what day, if it was snowing, raining, anything.
You're right.
I mean, that dog she was phenomenal, man. She taught me a lot about what a dog needed to be, and it didn't matter where you went or what you were doing. If it was knock her, drag her, running, and I didn't place the Gyp, but so much. I categorized the heck out of that dog a lot in hunting. She won speed and drive. She won hunting categories. She won a pile of combinations. She won a pile of classy hounds. I think Harley was best opposite sex 7 times before she ever made bench champion. That was the only champion Harley ever made. Every time I had her set up for a duel, she was 5th on the bench or some shit like that. And,
golly.
Yep. And it hurt Hooker because Hooker was smaller, but she was built like a brick shit house, man. She was tight and right, but she was smaller. I think she was best opposite sex 5 or 6 times. Never made a champion. It threw me 2. If I could have bred Hooker like I did Harley, I would have said I had 2 gooses. Because, I mean, I bred Hooker twice, and, I mean, I got Mary Kate and Ashley out to Jimmy's.
Yeah.
I got Black Bear and Kim and Courtney and Chloe out of the Big Eddies. I mean, I had some phenomenal dogs out of them. But that Gyp right there, start to finish, with what I know now, the little bit I do know about field trialing, you give me 6 hookers tomorrow at 10, 11 months old, I'm going to be dangerous for 3 or 4 years.
Right. Now, what was the time frame that you had her? Was that before Harley?
Yes, so I always say it's funny. MJ was hunting with me a little bit right there on the decline. I took a group of dogs to 100 billies. I don't know what it was. I didn't do a damn thing at the hunt. I think I categorized 2 dogs and had like 6 or 7 in the teens. Needed another crossing or 2 to have a weekend like I just had. I had Black Bear, Harley, Hooker, Blaze. All them, Mary Kate. I had all them dogs at the same time. I had a great group of dogs, just didn't know what in the hell I was doing with them. But Hooker, I got her out of a sneaky deal with Derek when her and her sister were puppies, and I want to say Hooker would have been 9 now. No. Hooker would have been 11, and Harley was 10 when she died. So 10 years ago is when they were born. So I'd say 8 years ago is when I had them field trial shape. Hooker was a little bit older than Harley, but Hooker was still going down on her prime when Harley was coming up in hers. I was able to hunt them at the same time.
You just got the perfect transition between the two.
That's right. Yeah, I think I won the combination at a hunt with Hooker and the All Age the same weekend I won the combination with Harley in the Derby.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had some fun times with them dogs. I learned a lot. They taught me a lot more than I taught them. That's for damn sure.
So did she die young?
Who, Hooker?
Hooker, yeah.
So I'm a firm believer in two things. One is kind of genetics and failures and stuff. Right. So her mama died, I want to say at 6, 7 years old of kidney failure.
Okay.
Hooker died at 6 or 7 of kidney failure. Gosh. Black Bear, Kim, Ashley, all of them died between 6 and 7 of kidney failure.
Wow.
We're a little harder on dogs when we run them like that because at the end of the day, the dog doesn't know when to stop. They got more heart than anybody. I mean, I tell people all the time, if I was a dog, they'd have sent me to the pound when I was a puppy. Right. Being worthless and probably talking too much. But
Chad told me earlier that I was going to have to do a 2-parter episode with you, so I think he was probably right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut it off right there for this episode. I appreciate y'all tuning in for this one. Y'all be sure, stay tuned, check out next week's episode where we'll finish up part 2 with Little Mule. I want to thank everybody again so much for listening. Could not do this without your support. And like always, guys, happy hunting.